Good afternoon and welcome to SEO for Associations. My name is Paul Plaster. I'm a Director of Strategic Consulting for Starkweather Association Services. Today our conversation will be about search engine optimization, SEO, a method for increasing online visibility for associations. Joining me today at this conversation is my trusted colleague and brother, Joe Plaster.
Hello everybody. Thanks for coming.
Yep. So we've brought Joe along because Joe is not only the principal and co-founder of Starkweather Association Services along with his partner Melinda Starkweather, but Joe serves a valuable role in this conversation as the regular Joe to ask the questions that a lot of folks may not ask about what do we mean by this SEO? What do we mean by keywords? Things that will make it more relevant than just say a standard technical conversation about something that's esoteric and potentially a little bit beyond people's ability to understand. So Joe will keep us grounded, hopefully, in the reality of what we're talking about. How do we make our content more visible, and how do we help increase that visibility for associations?
Yeah, well, and thank you, Paul. And one thing to add to everybody is that Paul and I have had numerous conversations about SEO, and every time he and I talk about it, I learn something new. And this is not my area of expertise, and so I'm looking for ways as both a business owner and as a consultant to other people who are responsible for business success to increase their success. So, for me, as much as for you, I think this conversation will be valuable because we're all going to learn something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying there, Joe, because it's something that I think a lot of people are aware of what this concept is, but they kind of potentially don't approach it thinking that they understand it. Because if they don't understand it, then it just remains sort of a mystery. And I'm kind of here today to kind of talk about how it's not necessarily a mystery. It's complex, it's a challenge, but it's not magic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of key things that we can kind of learn as we go in terms of how SEO works and how we can kind of use it in our day-to-day life.
Great.
Just a little bit about my background. The techniques that I'm going to be talking about today are methods that I've developed over 20 years of working in IT. I've run a number of different projects, from running e-commerce sites for retail businesses to running logistics operations to setting up software in manufacturing. And I also have a background in biosciences. And throughout the different steps I've taken in my career, I've often had to produce web content, and I've had to market that web content in order to get the views to generate the sales. And as a result, I've learned some things just as a common IT manager that will help to produce the content that will get page one results. And so whether it's setting up retail pages, setting up technical service pages, or now in the association world, setting up specific pages for member engagement, what I'm talking about here can generally produce page one results. It's not going to happen right away. It's not going to happen the first try, but these methods are things that we can use to really push our content, and it can, really open up a lot of worlds for you when it comes to getting your content ranked.
Great.
So the goal we have for today is really just an introduction. Think of this as kind of 101. Here are the general concepts of how to help your content and what you can do day to day as an association manager to produce more relevant and more visible information for your members. So just an overview of how our conversation will work today for SEO for associations. We're really only going to be focusing on 4 different concepts here. We have a key set of objectives that I'd like to provide you in terms of what you're going to learn. Majority of what we're going to be talking about today are the definitions, a lot of these buzzwords that you've probably been hearing and you're familiar with, but you don't know how they actually work. We'll work a little bit on strategies, just an introduction to the strategies that are useful when producing content, and then there'll be some takeaways that we can provide you to help you with your next steps along this SEO journey for associations. Objectives. So really 3 main goals with what we're talking about here with SEO for associations. I want to just present to you common SEO concepts. I want to present to you how a search finds content, and ultimately we want to talk about how to make this SEO work for you in the association world. You probably understand a lot of these things. You're doing it every single day when you're using search engines to find information, but you may not know exactly how it works. And as a result, you may be missing some opportunities to really enhance your content as you're looking to produce information online.